Dear participants, in previous two sessions we had learned few development metrics. In this session also we will learn some more development metrics which will help you to make a decision at the workplace, right. So, let us start with the content of the day. So, first that we will discuss this employee need assessment metric that we had already discussed in earlier session. Coach performance analytics, this also we have already discussed. Mentor performance analysis, that is also we have discussed, and coach outcome of coaching and mentoring session also we have discussed. So, in this session we will discuss the approaches. So, if you will see the total category of the employee development approaches, broad category of employee development approaches are 4 categories, right. So, you can check in your organization which category is the most popular, which one is the least popular, what is the reason. If you want to do and if you want to analyze that, so you can write one side the name of the approach. So, for formal education approach, in this approach employee go for formal education, like somebody who have completed undergraduate program, so that is to that employee may go for PG. Somebody who has completed the PG, that person can go for PhD if in future research orientation is required for particular job. So, this is the formal education approach. So, in order to develop the employees in the organization. Next approach is the assessment approach. So, mostly under this category what may happen, employees may be assessed for particular skill, right, through various assessment tool. So, one thing that personality can be tested through the MBTI big 5 factor, right, and then according to the personality that feedback can be given to that particular candidate, how that candidate can improve. Similarly, some other types of the test also can be conducted in order to assess the skill set which that a person is having, and this can be done within the organization. Internal expert can give a feedback or external can give a feedback. It is up to the organization to whom they would like to invite for the assessment and feedback process, constructive feedback process. Third category is their job experiences. So, job rotation, promotion, downward, right. So, such kind of techniques are also used to develop the candidate, right. If somebody, so but objective is to develop the candidate. So, job experiences also can be given. And fourth category is the interpersonal relationships. So, this coaching and mentoring comes under this interpersonal relationship. So, as an organization, we should understand what kind of development approach are being used in our organization. So, if in your organization 2000 employees are working, right, then you can first thing that you can decide for how many people, for each employee you need to have a developmental program. So, for each employee, what is your developmental strategy? You want to develop the employee through formal education, through assessment, job experiences and interpersonal relationships. So, the moment you have done the analysis of these 2000 employees in your organization, so they might be having different level of work experience, different level of skill set, high, low, average. Work experience may vary from 0 to 20 year, 25 year, 30 year. So, there is a huge variation is there in the workforce of any organization. So, for this variation you cannot develop the employee with the same approach. You need to have a diversity in your approach and you need to have the combination of these approaches. So, after making this assessment you can decide which approach would be appropriate for which level of employee, and then you can decide. So, basically I am asking you to do the analysis how these employees are being developed inside the organization. So, now you can divide here for through formal education how many employees are being developed, right. So, let us assume 100 employees are being developed through the formal education. Through assessment 500, remaining that is what you can say 500, interpersonal that you can say remaining that you can put it here. So, this will give you an idea which one is the most suitable method for your organization, right. So, that is what you can do it, and then you can convert into the percentage. What is the percent to 2000? So, 100 divided by 2000 multiply by 100, and then you can get the percentage. So, then you can get a percentage which so this analysis just simply will tell you which one is the most uh, popular employee development technique in your organization, and in future how the demographics of your 2000 employees, that example that we had taken, is changing, and according to that, as per the need of this 2000 workforce, which one would be the appropriate employee development technique, that is what you can decide. And in future, for the future development of the employee, you can decide an activity. That is what you can do by doing this analysis. You can have a list of all 2000 employees and demographics of these 2000 employees and employee development approaches. You can match for which category, which is or which one is most appropriate, right. And that is how you can plan the developmental activities for your employees. So, this is the one small analysis, that is what you can do it. Next thing that you can do, this budget, right. So, what is the total budget for training and development, right. Let us assume 100 crore is the total budget for training and development, and 60 is being spent on development and 40 is being spent on training. So, can you guess what it indicates? What it indicates? 40 and 60. So, what it indicates? It indicates that organization is giving lot of priority to its future, right. Development is future oriented, like in future what are the skills that may be required, and training is current, right, current requirement of the organization. If we reverse the ratio, right, 60 here and 40 here, so what it indicates? The current focus of learning and develop department is on current situation, right. So, number of training, you may see that number of trainings are more, right, and developmental activities will be there, but focus on developmental activity may not be that much high, right. So, if your focus is on developmental activity, so if you can understand this product life cycle, so when this maturity stage is going to come and you are keep on focusing on developmental activities, it may be possible your this maturity stage may stay for longer period of time, because when you are keep focusing on the employee development, these employees will get developed and you will get the competitive advantage and new process innovation, product innovations, customer satisfaction, these all things may improve in your organization, right. So, it shows, so if you need to understand the organization focus and priority, that you can assess through the budget analysis. So, how much budget is being allocated for the training and how much budget is allocated for the development. If it is more for the training, it indicates that organization is focusing on current requirement. If it is more for the developmental activities, then we can understand it organization is focusing on a future, right. So, that orientation that you can understand, and then accordingly you can plan, make the career plan for the employees within the organization, and this data you can use for employer internal employer branding also, right. Internal employer branding you can do with this data also. You whenever your top management is talking to the employees, they can highlight we are focusing on development so that is why your future in our companies is maybe bright, because we are spending more amount on developmental activities. So that is some more insights that you can draw with this analysis. You can go in depth and you can understand, right. But as of now, just I wanted to make you understand how you can interpret this data. So I hope you would have understood. Now let us move to this benchmark, right. So for each job profile, whatever job profile that you are having, you need to develop the benchmark in terms of the skills, right. So here you need to assess, so desired level of the skill, right. So these three levels are there: low, average and high. So for example, leading subordinate. So let us assume that in for doing particular job, leading subordinate is the high requirement. So here you can write the high. Straightforwardness, low, right. So that is how you can make a benchmark for a particular job, right. So here one side you can write the skills, another side you can mention the level of skill that is desired. I am not saying it should be there, it is desired level, it is the desired level which should be there in the organization in order to perform the excellent job, right. And what is the actual level of that particular skill? So actual level, how you will understand that average. Let us assume in one department 10 employees are coming working. So what is the average performance rating of those employees? So here let us assume for this leading subordinate is the average. So performance rating, if we are rating the all skills on 1 to 5, so average it shows that 3 is the rating. So average is there. So here we can have a, but here requirement is 4, that high. So in this case what we can do, in this case we can have a target, we have to increase from 3 to 4. So now we can specifically we can plan this developmental activities so that this current level of skill will move to the desired level of the skill. So that is how we can do the benchmarking. We can identify what is the actual level of skill and what is the desired level of the skill. So that benchmarking that we need to do, what is the level which is required in the department. So for developing the employees, that is how you can do the benchmarking for job category wise or department wise. If you are working in this particular department, then what are the skills that you should have and what should be the level of those skills, right. So after doing this benchmarking, what you can do, you can develop this checkpoint score for each employee, right, employee as well as for the department, right. So each checkpoint that you can develop. So let us understand how you can develop the checkpoint for each employee. So one thing that you need to do, you need to write the skill set one side. So you will write here all skills. So here you can see what are the skills that I have written. For example, this is just for example, otherwise department wise, employees wise, in most of the organization already this skill set is there. So for example, I have taken the few skills which is required for an employee to do the job. So first skill is the communication skill, right. So under the communication, sub skills are there: listen to others, process information, communicates effectively, leadership. So leadership is the another one, adaptability, relationships, task management, production, development of others, personal development. So these are the skills which is required to do a job. Now on 5-point scale, you can rate these all skills. So first number is never. So this person never listens to the others, right, if you believe this, right. And seldom, sometime, usually and always, right. So this, on this 5-point scale, you can take the data from all other people who are working in the department. So in department who works, supervisor. So your supervisor will give the rating, your peers will give the rating, right, your subordinates will give the rating, right. So and then you can average the rating for these skills and then you can write here what is your self rating. Let us assume your self rating for this is 5, average rating is 3. So, there is a difference of 2. So, that is how you can understand how much variation is there. So, if you remember in the previous session, I had already discussed how such kind of people may commit high confidence error, right. When variation is high, then person is likely to commit high confidence error. If variation is less, then person is likely to commit low confidence error, right. So, these are the errors that you can identify. So, here you can identify what is the average score. So, based on this average score, you can arrange the top performing skills for the individual and for the department, in which skill this particular individual has performed very well and in which skills this person has not performed well. So, that is how you can arrange these all skills according to ascending or descending order. Based on that order, you can identify for which skill this person was the extraordinary performer and for which skills this person was the poor performer, based on this total checkpoint. And these checkpoints that you can develop for the employees also, for all employees, and based on that you can do the comparison, who is the best performer, who is the poor performer, and who is the average performer, right. And then, so the similarly you can do for these other skills also, and then you can develop the developmental summary, right. So, strength, so in whichever skills this person received the highest point, let us assume here rating is 4.4, 4.3, 4.2 and 4.1, 4, 3.9, 3.8 and 3.7. So, out of 5, 3.7 we have kept the cutoff. So, who will decide this cutoff? That department will decide the cutoff, right. So, based on the cutoff that is decided, these are the skills which are above the cutoff number, that is what you can say. So, these are the strength of that particular employee in the organization, right. Similarly, skills which are below the average. So, 3.7 that we had decided, so below the average. So, below the average like 3.6, 3.5, 3.4, 3.2, 3.1, 3.0, 2.9, 2.8, 2.7, 2.6. So, similarly you can write the all numbers, right, and then you can say this is the developmental area. So, now you would have understood by doing this checkpoint analysis how to develop the individualized developmental plan. So, these are the skills where employees are lacking. So, now you need to make a developmental plan. Now, question comes how you will decide which developmental activity. So, we had discussed the 4 developmental activity. What are those 4 developmental activities? That formal, assessment, right, job experience and interpersonal relation. So, according now you have got a list of the skills in which one individual is performing poor or department is performing poor. So, accordingly now you can decide. So, for example, builds personal relationship. Now, you need to think which developmental activity will be appropriate, job experience or interpersonal relations. So, coaching or mentoring. So, I believe that coaching and mentoring may teach someone to build the personal relationship. So, in this case you can select the coaching and mentoring you can suggest to this particular employee, right. So, rather than job experience that you can ask, right, and this production. In the case of production, that job experience may be more appropriate, right. So, rotation, transfer, promotion, demotion, right. So, hands on experience. So, such kind of activities. So, the moment you got a list of all activities, the list of all activities which individual is performing poor, right. Now, you can make a customized plan according to the skills. So, that is how you can develop by using the statistics. This 3.7 is the cutoff, and if somebody is scoring above that, so this is the strength area, there is no urgent need to develop those skills, because in those skills somebody is already performing, and these are the skills in which person is performing poorly. So urgent requirement is there to develop these skills. So now you can think for the training, or you can think for the developmental plan. Now question come, which developmental plan that you should think. So for that you need to think about these skills, and according to the skills which need to be improved, you can suggest the developmental plan to the each employee, right. So and one more thing that I suggest, you can link this developmental plan with for these skill based on the aim of the developmental plan. So most of the time these developmental plans are having the aim for the succession planning, dealing with the dysfunctional manager, and creating more opportunities for a woman manager. So this is just for example, I have taken these example. Your organization, your department may be having the different goals, right. So these are the, so if succession planning is the aim, developmental, then you can think which how you can develop the skills in the employee through this customized employee developmental plan. So by keeping the aim, right, person where employee is performing poorly, right, and then the method that you can select. So that is how you should select the method for the individual developmental plan. So we were learning about the how to develop the individualized developmental plan by calculating check score points. So that is what we had learned till now, how to develop the developmental plan. And now we will learn one more matrix, that is the job experience matrix, right. So here you need to identify the situations, right. So what are the situations that employee may face in the future, right. So situations like making the transitions, creating the change, having the high level of responsibility, being involved in non-authority relationships, facing obstacles. So what kind of obstacles that person can face. So what you can do, you can identify the all those situations that individual may face in a future, right, and then you can identify a method through which you can train that particular person, right. So the moment you have identified you have made a list of all those situations which individual or a department may face in a future, right, and then you can identify the method. So that method I already discussed with you, method of formal education method, interpersonal relationship. And if we go to first slide, so these are the four methods that we had discussed, right, formal education, assessment, job experience, and interpersonal. So specifically I am talking about job experience, right. So if you have to increase the self efficacy of a person for in order to deal with particular situation, right. So for that, job experience will give you the hands-on experience to deal with that particular situation, and that is what that this is the method which is likely to increase your self efficacy. So what you can do, the moment you have identified these all activities, and for example in your organization 10 employees are there, right, 10 employees are there, 10 employees are there. So you have identified these all activities. Now question comes, which employee you have to promote and you have to transfer to which department, right, to what level you have to promote. So how you will do that, right. So after identifying these all situation, these are the activities for that you want to train the person, right, and through this various job experience method, so promotion, demotion, transfer, you can give a experience to these all situations to all these 10 employees. After the situation, you can check their self efficacy level. So the self efficacy score, that is what you can calculate, right, and then you can see for which activity the score is high, right. For example, having the high level of responsibility, person's self efficacy is very high to deal high stake, managing business diversity, job overload, handling external pressure. So somebody enjoys in the high level of responsibility, and that person is very confident to do these all things as compared to creating the change and making the transition, right. Then what you should do, out of these 10 people you should transfer or you should promote only that one that particular person who is having the high self efficacy for this particular activity, right. So that is how what you can do, you have identified the number of situations, and then you have given the experience to the various employees, and after the experience I am not asking you to calculate the performance rating, I am asking you to calculate the self efficacy. So self efficacy is high, whichever employee is having the self efficacy for whichever activity, for that activity, that opportunity should be given to that particular employee. So now you can understand how you can select this job experience method, right, which person should be trained for which through which job experience and for which activity, right. Randomly you are not supposed to do it. You can check the self efficacy, and then what you can do, then you can allocate these all activities, and before the activity and after the activity you can check whether there is a significant difference between the self efficacy of that particular person or not. If there is significant difference, if it is improved, then you can say yes, this job experience method is working. If it is decreased, then you can say significant difference is there but decreased, but that you can say it is not impacting in positive way. So you need to change the job experience method. So that is how you can use this job experience method in order to decide which activity, which department person should be promoted, one person should be transferred, demoted, right, what has to be done. So that these are the decisions that you are taking just on the basis of personal experience, but statistically on the basis of the self efficacy score you can take such kind of decision. So I hope you would have understood job experience matrix, individual developmental plan, by using the numbers, how you can use these matrix in order to develop the individual plans and in order to transfer, promote, demote one person from another, one department to another, or a department one position to the another position. So thank you.